Greetings, one and all, and welcome back to the Age of Sail tournament and From the Depths. I am your host, Chromoid, and this is episode 14, the very last episode of this tournament. This is the finals match, ladies and gentlemen, and in this last match we have, on the left side, the Raging Barricuda by Varian 101. This mighty monstrosity has absolutely blasted its way through the competition. It's seen some ups and some downs and some close calls of its own, but in the end it's come out victorious every time. It should be noted that the Raging Barricuda is also the ship in this tournament with the single most battles of any other. And on the right side, we have the Odysseus by Nobidex. This ship is also equally terrifying, though not as traditional. It features a mostly forward-facing bank of guns that can absolutely shred any target that gets in its path. It also features the ability to split its fire on the banks to different sides, so if it faces off against multi-ship entries, it can hit more than one target at a time. And with that out of the way, I am going to stop talking, and we're going to get into this last finals fight. The winner of this will be crowned the King of Sail. Let's see who has the chops to take home the prize. In 3, 2, 1, go. And right away the two contestants settling down in the water. There's the broadside from, I'm blanking, this is so awesome. The Odysseus, yes, the Odysseus fires first. Of course, the first of all, he goes straight into the water. Varian's ship, the Barricuda, applies. Looks like those shots might actually make it. Yes, they do. Slamming into the bottom section of the guns. The Odysseus is shot. Flying in, it's going to hit the tail of the Barricuda, it seems. Nope, it's going to miss completely. The Barricuda scooted out of the way. The Barricuda is much more nimble. It actually moves. The Odysseus mostly just sits there and lets its target come to it. There's a peppering of HE explosives on the front of the Odysseus. That was a oxymoron, wasn't it? HE explosives. I'm excited. This is really cool. These two ships are very, very powerful. Two very different designs. And I'd like to say the Barracuda's at a disadvantage here since it can only use 50% of its guns at any one time on the Odysseus. But at the same time, it actually can move. The Odysseus, well, it can move, but it's very, 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 very slow. And it even turns weird too. What it's good at is this right here. Oh dear me, there goes a sail. Yes, that's almost the entire sail gone. Interestingly enough, that sail is still standing. The left side is still up. It's just a testament to how strong Varian's construction is. Most sails that we've seen in this tournament have been snapped in half by that volley. And he's built sails under the water too. You can't see them, but sails in From the Depths work inverted under the water as if there's wind blowing on them. So he's put 3 more exact identical sails underneath his ship to kind of mitigate damage. Of course, they can still get damaged by cannonballs missing the ship and firing underwater, which is cause for some of the low shots you see against the Barracuda. The ships are actually targeting its sails underwater. Okay, this is something we have seen a couple of times, but no ship has ever been able to really capitalize on it. The Barracuda has gotten itself on the side of the Odysseus, and as we have seen before, the Odysseus has a small row of howitzers on the side, and that is it. And the armor is very thin. You see it's already punching through the thin wood armor and into the internals. Now there's not much on the inside to hit. The main ammo deposit is down under the water in a box. But that's still not good for the Odysseus. That's more health that it can lose, and that the Barracuda most likely will not lose. Also, if it hits from the side here, it can actually wipe out some of the guns on the side because there's just thin wood armor. The biggest problem is if the Raging Barracuda manages to take out these sails. Well, maybe not a huge problem. The Odysseus really doesn't focus too much on moving forward. It likes to spin in place and hit its opponents. It moves forward if it's going out of range. But man, this is unique. I've never seen another ship with as little damage as the Barracuda has sustained getting this kind of profile on the Odysseus. The Odysseus has been flanked in the past, but every time it's been by a ship that just is either too damaged or can't seem to get itself straightened out in time to take advantage of it. Or usually the ships are too small. It's usually multi-ship entries that can flank the Odysseus because it fires on one, and the other one or two manage to slip behind it. But they've never been able to capitalize on it like this. Look at this. If I'm not mistaken, those are AI blocks right there. Those are housings to protect the AI. I could be wrong, but I would suspect that's what they are, because if there's aim point on one of these ships, the first thing they'll target is the huge ammo deposit underwater. Aim point targets ammo first. So there's no reason to stick the AI down there with the ammo. It'd be up here where it'd be more relatively safe, while the aim point selector targets the ammo underneath it. Oh wow, it's just coming all the way around the back of the Odysseus. It's tearing huge chunks out of it, and those high explosive shells do wonders against these wooden beams and angles. Let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I say underwater. Ammo box. Way down there, that's the ammo deposit for the Odysseus. That's on this huge tower going up to the bottom of the ship. This is amazing. I don't think, and like I said, no one has ever gotten this much effective fire into the rear of the Odysseus, and this Barracuda is just shredding it. Oh, my mouse just died. I may have to get a new battery, folks. Oh, it lives. It lives. Okay, let's continue this. Barracuda's just getting volley after volley of shots in on the side of the Odysseus. This is really, really cool. Look at that. Barracuda took several straight volleys to the face, and most of its guns are still intact, probably thanks to the way that these guns are layered underneath wooden beams with stone between them. It really helps to mitigate the high explosive damage coming out of the Odysseus. The Odysseus likewise has not lost a lot in the way of guns on the front. You see a lot of scarring and burning on the front of the stone, but it's not been damaged to the point of being broken. So it's protected the guns very well. This is not good for the Odysseus. Right now it's down to 86%. The Raging Barracuda is only at 96%. The Raging Barracuda, if this goes to a timeout, will definitely win this fight. The Odysseus needs to get itself turned around so it can fire back on its opponent. And the Barracuda is all the way behind it now. It's just gotten completely around it. See a few high explosive blasts coming on the Barracuda there. The Odysseus isn't completely helpless back here. It does have some small guns, as you can see right there. It's got a few of them, but not enough to really do the kind of damage it wants to do to the Barracuda. And I gotta admit, this is kind of fascinating because the Odysseus fires mostly large, high explosive shells, which you would think would be absolute death to a mostly wooden ship like the Barracuda, although we have seen the Barracuda does have stone behind that wood, so maybe that's why it looks so good, but it really hasn't taken the kind of damage I expected it to take, especially not after being right in front of the Odysseus for 2 to 3 volleys. Granted, the Odysseus did miss at least one of those volleys, maybe 1.5, but excuse me again, got a cough. But even so, I mean, that's quite impressive. To take that kind of damage from the Odysseus and look like the Barracuda does is no small feat. Less than 12 minutes to go in this fight, and the Barracuda is just tearing the Odysseus a new one. Wow, this is incredible. the Odysseus is beginning to fall backwards into the water. Its buoyancy has been disrupted by the Barricuda's damage. And now the Barricuda, having torn a huge chunk out of the center of the back of the Odysseus, is now getting at those AI blocks. Now there's 4 AI on the Odysseus, but if it loses all of those AI, it will die. Of course, the Barricuda does not have aim point, so it's not going to specifically target those. If it had aim point, it wouldn't target those anyway. It'd be targeting the stone reinforced ammo deposit underwater, which is probably, it's a good thing it didn't use aim point, because it would be wasting most of these shots on a useless underwater target, because, you know, cannonballs don't really travel very fast underwater, and they lose their trajectory, and they'll most likely miss because the AI doesn't compensate for water friction. Just volley after volley from the Barricuda. I don't think it's had this much continuous fire in a long time. I don't think we've seen the Odysseus shredded like this ever. This is just wow. And now the Barricuda is punching through, all the way through the ruined back armor into the stone armor in the front, hitting the guns in the front from behind, which is not what it was designed to do, what the Odysseus was designed to withstand. Still has quite a bit of armor in the back there, but I suspect that weapon controllers are going to get very badly damaged shortly here. Wow. You give me a second, ladies and gentlemen, I'll let you watch this. I'm going to go get a battery for my mouse. Be right back. No, you know what? Forget it. I have a trackpad. And we have 9.5 minutes remaining. I'm not quitting now. We're gonna finish this out. Wow. Then there goes the top of the Odysseus. It's just being cored from the back. It's really unfortunate. If it had turned around and kept its front to the Barricuda, it could have easily took most of this damage, like a great amount of this damage, and hurt the Barricuda quite bad. But as it is, with this very vulnerable backside exposed, it's just not got much of a chance. It's got to get itself turned around, and I'm not sure if the rudders are still there to make it turn. It's still functional. Those guns in the front look like they're still functional. Some AI right there. Odysseus still has all of its AI, it's still got all of its ammunition, it's got most of its cannons, it just needs to turn around. And it's not doing that. I don't know why, it didn't seem to be able to match the flanking speed of the Barricuda. Couldn't turn in time, it just couldn't stay with it. 8.5 minutes remaining, and it looks like the Barricuda might actually finish this off before the timer does. This is this is amazing. I never thought I'd see the Odysseus this badly hurt. Wow. Very, very epic design by Varian 101. And very aptly named, I think. It's certainly wrathful. It hasn't even started to use this side of guns yet. It's only using half of its firepower. For using all the guns it had on it at once, it probably would have already blown the Odysseus sky high. The Odysseus is still firing back. You're not mishearing that. Those are cannons coming from the Odysseus. It's got a few left on it, as you can see, but most of them are in the wrong position to fire. And there's not many of them. And they're not very strong. They're little howitzers. Wow. The back armor on the Odysseus is completely gone now. There's this little section on the side left. I'm wondering if the Barricuda is starting to run low on ammo. The ammo barrels regenerate, but maybe not enough to keep the volleys going. I don't know. That volley is headed for the right side. And it's all free. It's pretty much free damage that the Barricuda gets. It now has a 26% lead, which is incredible. No one has ever managed to wound the Odysseus like this. It has been dominant in just about every performance. But the Barracuda is a whole different fish to fry. It looks like the sails on the Barracuda just aren't working properly, so it's just kind of sitting here camped out in the back, plunking away at the vulnerable backside. It's probably a good thing, honestly. It doesn't want to go around the front of the Odysseus and give it a chance to even up the score. Down to 69%. And man, there's almost nothing left of the back of the Odysseus. The Barracuda has ripped it all to shreds. Is finding that stone armor difficult to deal with, though. The wood armor is fairly easy to shred, but the stone armor is very high explosive resistant, and kinetics have trouble dealing with it too. Although that shot took out some of that stone armor right there. That has been weakened sufficiently to the point that a blast will take it out. But it'll take significantly more shells to kill stone than it will to kill wood, which makes sense, I guess. Now the Barracuda, I think, is trying to fire down into the submerged floor of the Odysseus, trying to hit down there where the floorboards have been submerged, and not doing very well, it would seem, because of course oh, sorry, blanked out. The AI is not so good at adjusting for water friction, as I've said before. There we go. Zooming in and out with a trackpad is much harder than zooming in and out with a mouse. I do apologize. I should have checked my equipment before I did this. Oh, there we go. Look at that. There are rudders left on the Odysseus, but they're at a weird angle now. It's going to have a much harder time turning around. Is it despawning? Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Stop the clock. The Odysseus has been brought below 55% and is despawning. Wow. I never thought I'd see the day when the Odysseus was not only beaten, but completely destroyed by another entry. It just goes to show just how strong the Raging Barracuda is. Congratulations, Varian 101. You are the winner of the Age of Sail tournament. Your Barracuda has raged its way through the brackets and has taken out every opponent that stood in its way. It was a solid entry, man. And Nobidex, your Odysseus has also fought very hard and gotten all the way to the finals, man. Very strong entry that you have here. Not to be dismissed easily, but in this case, it simply wasn't enough to put up with the rage that the Barracuda possesses. So thank you both for participating. Congratulations once again, Vario 101, for winning. And that's been it for me, folks. This was the Age of Sail tournament. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more tournaments to come. Until next time, I've been Chromoid, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.